What's up, y'all? This is Jason Nelson, comedian Jason Nelson, author, writer, producer Jason Nelson. And I'm here to give an expression of my thought on Hambres. I believe that's his name, the gorilla that was enclosed into the Cincinnati Zoo. The gorilla who wasn't in his natural habitat, Hambres. The gorilla who unfortunately was killed in order to guarantee the survival of a 4-year-old child. Will say, I can't believe that people are magnifying the quality of the life of the gorilla while minimizing the life of the child. Really think about that. I mean, it's cool to be an animal activist and all for animal rights, but do you really believe an animal life is more important than the life of a human? Like, you may not be that religious, but even Jesus said humans are way more valuable than life of the animals. He may not use the term way more, but it's a scripture I remember reading where Jesus had, did a healing or something, and somebody like, well, you can't do that stuff on the Sabbath, which is supposed to be a holy day of no work and resting and stuff like that. But Jesus said, but if one of your goats fell in the hole on the Sabbath, you will go down there and get that goat up out the hole. He said, well, a human life is way more valuable than that goat. So if you think that goat deserves to live, well, so does that person. Now, I ain't a real religious guy. I'm just using that as a reference point. That human life is valuable. I know in these last few years, people have basically said human life isn't valuable. Because what I don't get is, some of y'all are in such an uproar over the gorilla being killed in exchange for the guarantee of the life of the child, more than you are about teenagers who've been murdered in the last few years that many of us feel was unjustly. Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown. Just like they said, well, why didn't they tranquilize the gorilla? They could have tranquilized him. The gorilla didn't look like it was hurting the baby. It didn't look like it was. Even when I watched the video, it looked like a gorilla being a gorilla. It didn't look like a gorilla with the intentions of being an aggressive, violent animal. But they probably couldn't guarantee the safety of the child because they didn't speak the same language. So they were like, but they could have tranquilized it, put it to sleep. Probably the same way we felt like Mike Brown could have been tased and then arrested. Probably the same way how we figured, like, when George Zimmerman was told he didn't have to pursue Trayvon Martin after he called the police, but he pursued him anyway and then murdered him like shortly afterwards because it was all in the name of self-defense. He wanted to guarantee his safety. And then people are calling for the livelihood of the child parents. I will say this. I'm not going to justify why the parents had a lack of supervision for their child. I just know that within a moment's time, things could have happened. Maybe the parent did make a bad judgment call. That doesn't mean the child deserves to die. And then they so crazy, they're bringing up the past of the father who wasn't even there. Oh, he did a year in prison. What the hell they got to do with the gorilla getting shot? And he wasn't even there. So you believe with his parents being arrested and put in jail is going to help society? Wouldn't he have a lower quality of life because his parents aren't there to protect him, the child and provide for him? It's like you're treating him like an animal. This is Jason Nelson, man. Give me your thoughts, your feedback. Let me know what you think. Comment, share, post. All right, you be blessed.